Stop workplace bullying. Stop workplace bullying.
Stop workplace bullying now!
This is part of the National Week of Action to have a bully-free workplace. And we need to have a bully-free workplace. There's an epidemic of workplace bullying in the United States. Workers are being injured, they're being harassed, they're being mobbed, they're being bullied. And what happens is many of these workers end up having to go on disability, workers' comp, and their lives are ruined. And we need to stop that. We need legislation, but we also need a movement to protect workers on the job so we have a health and safety environment. We need a safe environment to work. We need a safe environment to do our jobs. And by bullying workers, they don't increase the value of workers. They basically harass and intimidate workers. So that's why we're here today. And there are resolutions that are being passed by organizations around the country. We have a real problem in San Francisco with workplace bullying incidents, and people will be talking about that. And my name is Steve Zeltzer. I'm with United Public Workers for Action and also the Stop Workplace Bullying Group. And also one of the key organizers of this event this afternoon is Brenda Barros, who's the chapter chair of the San Francisco General Hospital. And we've had some incidents there and actions as well against bullying. So welcome, Brenda.
Hi, I want to thank everybody for coming. This is like a major issue that's been affecting people for a long time. It's been like years worth of to bring it to the attention that we have it, and we have to continue, and we need to get that law passed. Because if you're white and you get harassed by somebody else who's white, you have no protection. If you're a man and you get harassed by another man, you have no protection. If you're a lone person that walks into a new workplace and you're surrounded by people that for whatever reason don't want you there, you can get harassed out of your job. I've seen it happen over and over and over again, where it starts off with one person attacking the person, and then you get into mob bullying, and it's horrific. People get injured, people get hurt. I know people that are at work for the city for 20 years that got driven out of their jobs, and I have a lot of physical permanent illnesses based on the fact that they were bullied and harassed over years and years of time. This needs to stop. We need laws to protect our workers, and it cannot continue. I've been a victim of it myself, and so have most of us here. If you really ask most people and you talk to them about what they do at work, everybody has a story at one time or another. Either it was because of discrimination, because of the color of their skin, it was because of their sex, it's because they were transgender, it's because of their age. Whatever it is, all these things need to be stopped. So I hope that this is just the beginning, and I'm with SEIU 1021 Social Economic Justice Committee. And we've taken this issue on as a union. And so we want other unions to step up and join this fight, because we have to protect our workers. If we're a union, we can do nothing less than protect the people that work. And this is not just directed at union workers. We want to protect all workers. So it doesn't matter whether you work in public, private, nonprofit, that should be irrelevant. Nobody should have to deal with that in the workplace.
What surprises me is that San Francisco is concerned about schoolyard bullying. The city is concerned about domestic abuse. They're concerned about elder abuse. But when it comes to the 30,000 city employees, there's nothing happening with workplace bullying. So really what we need is for Mickey Callahan and the Human Resources Department to conduct a survey of city workers to find out how much bullying is really going on, and then they can develop strategies to mitigate it. But meanwhile, we just have to make a lot of noise. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yeah. I want to introduce John Wildworth, who's been fighting at San Francisco General with the pharmacy, which has a lot of problems. There's a lot of abuse going on there, and so he's taking on that fight for the pharmacy at San Francisco General.
All right, John.
Hi, my name is John Watzer. I'm with pharmacy in the SF General Hospital, and I'm here to support anti-bullying. The workplace bullying is a serious issue at my work site. My manager is fully aware of the bullying that that happens at our work site. The hostile work environment has been going on for
decades.
Years, and I want it to stop. A lot of our co-workers are having a hard time focusing at work, having difficulties dealing with hostile co-workers, and I want the managers to manage.
Not act like children.
The workplace bullying in my department is reaching a crisis level of management, and we need it to stop.
Stop workplace bullying. Stop workplace bullying. Stop workplace bullying.
This is so timely for me. Last Wednesday, I was called into my manager's office because Ed Reskin, the director of my department, SFMTA, received a call from Catherine Dodd, who is the director of the health service system for the city and county of San Francisco. Why was I called in? Simply because I requested that the open enrollment time be extended 2 weeks. The time that the whole mailing to the 29,000 active employees of the city, they were delayed 9 days in being notified that the healthcare system is having open enrollment. So what's the big deal? The big conversation in this nation is healthcare. Every one of us are fortunate enough to have healthcare through the Obama plan or through the city and county plan. This year makes it very special. For once, a secretary like myself can afford the Cadillac plan, the city plan. However, thousands of people will not know this because they don't have access to a website, computer, or printer. I received a letter, not a package with detailed information as has been done in the 29 years before with my employment with the city. Some people never even got it. So therefore, I asked for an extension so we can at least, by word of mouth, tell bus drivers, laborers, custodians, people who don't sit at a desk, who have the opportunity to use a computer due to the long commute hours and their work schedules. Her answer to me was, well, they can go on the website or they can come to 1145 Market. I know. I went to 1145 Market today to get the information I needed. I got the last copy of the doctor's directory because they were being unpacked. And today is October 19th. What does that say? This is an elitist movement. It only caters to those who sit at a desk, who have access to a computer and a printer. This is not fair. This is extreme racism at its best by the director of health services system. We are being disenfranchised. And this is not tolerable in this day and age in the city and county of San Francisco. So I'm asking every one of you to email the Health Service System Executive Board, the commissioners, because as she states in her email to me, she is not accountable to me. She is only accountable to the Health Service System Board. Therefore, please urge your co-workers to go to the Health Service System Board. Tell them that they did not receive proper notification. We also urge Catherine Dodd to stop making a hostile, negative work environment for someone who has the audacity to ask that she play fair and notify all of the active employees of the healthcare system changes. It should not only be for managers who sit in an office. It should be for the parking control officers, the laborers, the tradesmen, the blue-collar workers. Thank you. However, she is the director of wellness, a wellness program that she has set the tone for to create a negative, hostile, retaliatory work environment for others who dare speak up, like myself. Therefore, please call the mayor, call the Board of Supervisors, the Civil Service Commission, and notify them that this type of bullying is unacceptable. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sylvia.
A lot of teachers are being bullied and a lot of education workers. Welcome, Caroline.
Thank you. My name is Caroline. I'm also representing students and healthcare providers, not only from San Francisco, but from the Bay Area. And I'm talking about San Jose State. That's where I was bullied, and I was actually denied to take the national exam, so I cannot exercise my profession because I thought I was fulfilling my responsibility, and I had to report abusive and illegal conduct. And I had to report Medicare fraud, elder abuse, and neglect. This is going on. You will see it starts with education. Yes, here for this month is anti-bully month. Look at their website. They will have full advertisement of anti-bully laws, anti-bully prevention. They will have the policies in place to report discrimination, harassment. But look what you've seen with the latest case at UC Berkeley, the sexual abuse. It was all covered up. This is what happens in our higher education system, and it actually is also in K through 12. So watch out for your kids. They say they have the policies in place, but there's a huge disconnect between what is publicized and what happens behind closed doors. So please, anti-bullying.
Yes.
Our next speaker is Nan Karadin Lee. Welcome, Nan.
I was bullied by a professor at UC Berkeley who first manipulated me out of 20 years on the salary scale and then put so much work on me that I became sick for 3 years. She then blacklisted me for 9 years after I quit so that I couldn't work. I went to get a proclamation the other night from a city council in the East Bay. We stood up to say the Pledge of Allegiance to a flag that said, and we said, "With liberty and justice for all." There is no justice in workplace bullying. There are no laws against it. So, this is a silent epidemic, and apparently nearly a third of the workforce will experience this during their working careers. We need to stand up. We need to have new laws to end this travesty against workers. Thank you.
I'll be brief. Thank you, everybody. Everybody's said a lot of really appropriate, relevant things. One of the things that just strikes me as everybody's up here talking is that, people's rights are being chipped away at further and further. And I just got an email from the union, who I've been at war with as well, saying that, essentially denying my rights. I wrote a PERB complaint against the city of Oakland for denial of wine garden rights, and the union didn't represent me, and the city of Oakland spent tens of thousands of dollars to challenge my wine garden rights and that sort of thing. So it's very important that individual rights are exercised in the workplace, and as we've seen here today, really quickly, when they I don't know if you've read those emails from the engineers who had to report that the BART Bridge, the Bay Bridge isn't safe. And these are emails that engineers submitted to their supervisors about this $6 billion bridge. And it reminded me of that morning in 2009 when I sent an email to my boss asking that the Oscar Grant shooting be investigated, because that was my job to do that at the time, and how poorly that was received, and how ultimately no investigation was conducted. These are a matter of the public trust. And I hope I pulled that together, because that was expository. So I'm not sure what else I have to say, but thank you.
Also, we are taking action on the job. And there was an incident in the at SF General where workers were being, one worker was being terrorized, but other workers as a result of bullying. And we stood up and we had a rally outside San Francisco General to say this is not acceptable. This is not acceptable. You can't bully and harass and discriminate against workers. And that worker is here today. Welcome her.
All right. Are we going to do it again?
Yes.
My name is Lon. I've been working for General Hospital for 23 years. And for last 15 years ago, a new job, seen the manager come in and also the new technician coming in, which is the hostile, the harassment, the intimidation. They use which is nepotism, and also use other people to against me.
and also I feel sick, and I now on disability, and I just afraid to go back work, and I afraid that it continue, and I don't know how they try to hurt me again.
Okay, thank you, Lon.
Now, the California Healthy Workplace Advocates has been leading the campaign statewide. California Healthy Workplace Advocates in 37 states with sister groups of citizen lobbyists nationally proclaim this third week of October 2015 and each year going forward to be Freedom from Workplace Bullies Week throughout the United States. We challenge our colleagues, subordinates, and our superiors to stop the growing cancer of abuse in our American workforce. We admonish the people to defend themselves and one another by insisting that all legislators recognize and prevent this long-ignored evil that is rotting our nation from within our ranks. Labor is integral to the pursuit of happiness guaranteed by the constitutions of the United States and California. To overlook the toll workplace bullying bears upon individuals, their families, and their co-workers and their employers is to undermine the freedoms we hold most dear. We are not slaves in our employment. We are contributors to the common good and the common goals of our nation. We demand and deserve respect and cooperation in our work endeavors. We must stop the abuse that leads to corruption, nervous disorders, physical illnesses, turnover, worker sabotage, workers' comp claims. Discrimination law is insufficient in its attempt to halt harassment in the workplace. Status-blind harassment is at present but should not be legal. Demand that your legislators pass the Healthy Workplace Bill and hold workplace bullies personally responsible for the damage they do to each and every one of us, because word should not hurt. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness has foundation in the Golden Rule. We proclaim that the Golden Rule should begin at work so we can bring the pursuit of happiness to our families and to our homes. That's from the California Healthy Workplace Advocates. And Holmes is a member of the Human Rights Committee of the Media Workers, of which I'm a member as well. So welcome, John Holmes.
Thank you, Steve. Well, I haven't personally had the experience of being bullied for quite a while, although I'm retired now. Back about 30 years ago, I did go through that. But I'd like to tell you the story of one worker who was involved in a situation people should be aware of. It's not a recent story. Anyone here from East Bay Mud? Or anyone here from AFS-CME? If you were, you might have heard of the story of Charles Dubois. He was a longtime militant at East Bay Mud. He'd been there for 18 years. He'd been on the executive committee. He'd been a shop steward. In the year 2003, he got fired. Why did he get fired? Because management said he was engaged in workplace violence. Their justification for that were some comments that he made while trying to pursue agreements. His comments were, and they put this in the management flyer, I'm going to file a grievance so hard about this and you'll deserve it. That didn't quite fly, so they had to come up with something else, and they claimed he'd used the N-word, which is a little strange because, number one, he was almost famous in that shop for refusing to do that kind of thing, and number two, because he was black. So they did finally manage to fire him. And that, I think, has got to be considered as a warning. Rules against workplace bullying can be used against workers, and you need to be aware of that. So I don't like this idea of passing a law. Now, why is there an epidemic of workplace bullying?
Go behind the
Surely.
speaker. Yeah.
It's because right now we live in a society where the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. We're leaving a society where black youth are being shot down like dogs on the street. And we're living in a society where every day you hear about the U.S. government bombing and droning someplace in a foreign country. And that's why it is you've got an epidemic of workplace bullying. So what do we do about it? Well, there's only one thing that can be done about it. Workers need to unionize. And if the unions aren't standing up to that, they need to be made to stand up to that. That's the only way. The real way to stop a manager bullying is for the workers to get together for direct action and bully them right back. That's how to stop workplace bullying. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Karen Jobert. I'm with SEIU Local 1021. And as we know, we've had members who've come from the East Bay. We have members from San Francisco. We've had members come all the way from Fairfield to say to you that workplace violence, workplace bullying is violence. And you need to know that because it is unhealthy, it is unsafe, and it is wrong. And we must stand up, stand together. And as we always say, an injury to one is an injury to all. But it's true, it's not only an injury to all, but it's an injury to families. Because when you're being bullied, your family also experiences that bullying too. when you're being bullied, your community experiences that bullying. So we must stand and stand together. It's unacceptable, but we also must know that when someone cries out about being bullied, we must listen and adhere to them and know that there is a reason for it, and we must stand together. So it must stop, and it should stop today. We celebrate today saying a change has to take place.
Sucks. All the new workers coming in, I guess, from the transplants, I guess they're calling them, you know, it just messed up the traffic. But just recently, just kind of, I don't know if everybody here knows about the situation that happened at Recology with myself, where a noose was placed on the job site about 2 years ago, this December 10th. And with the noose being placed up, the chain of events that happened after that were just very, they were brutal, just to be honest. You know, it was a form of bullying and retaliation, really is what happened. I tried to apply for different positions in the company. They denied me, they blocked me. I never tried to make it about money. It never was about money with me. I tried to negotiate with the company. I wanted them to change policy. I wanted the other workers there to not be scared of coming out and speaking up against what had happened. But in the end result was everybody backed away from me because they were scared of losing their jobs, which I'm pretty sure a lot of us who have been bullied at the job site or whoever has spoke out about something at the job site knows very well that's what they do. They try to isolate you, and as they isolate you, they can deal with you by yourself. And that's what happened. So, that's some support right there. We got some supporters. I was denied medical attention from what had happened, and me speaking out against it about, you know, the noose being hung up at the job. They basically made it seem as if it was just a joke, as if it was a bad joke at that. And I didn't take it as a joke. I didn't take it lightly, and nobody should. The same thing they do when you all receive harassment or bullying or something like that racially. They'll make it seem as if it's a joke. So the end result, I went to my own doctor, and then they tried to denied me workers' comp. It was a long process. Basically, I don't think they're gonna allow me to talk, I guess, today. So I was retaliated against. I had a meeting with HR, which is Kathy Jameson, and me having a meeting with Kathy Jameson, we did it wasn't really by the books. I had a lawyer already that I was speaking with. We had a meeting at P.F. Chang's over in Emeryville, where she basically told me at this meeting that I needed to take $50,000 and walk away from my job. I could no longer work anymore, which didn't make any sense. $50,000 is not enough money to really walk away from a job that you would make much more than that in a year. So it made any sense for that and lose your medical. I denied that, and she said that basically they didn't want me to be at the company and that I would never, regardless of my qualifications, I would never be promoted. So that's retaliation, open and closed book case. After all of that transpired, at that time, I tried to negotiate a little bit more with the company and try to see if, one, we could change policy, and two, if we could make sure this would never happen again, and then offer me an apology to all the other workers, because a lot of the workers at Recology don't even know about this situation. They do now because we've been a little bit more outspoken, talking to a couple other workers who are going through some issues, and they are coming forward now. One of the drivers, Marcus Ward, has actually come forward to speak about another supervisor that he's going through it with that actually had ties, I believe he was telling me, well, I know from what HR told me, to the Hells Angels, threatening another employee to quit to take the rap for stealing recycling precious metals. What's that? Oh, at the time I got the lawyer, they were served, and they're still playing hardball. They actually, last week, they contacted me and wanted me to take a settlement, but also meet their terms. And I told them, no, it's not about you making terms on me. It's about us as the workers making terms on you all to change policy and also to make sure that nothing like this happens again to anybody else. And, you know, I basically told them to go to hell. I mean, because, you know, they always want to play the victim after they victimized you or did something wrong to you and turn you into the victim, and I refuse to do that. December 10th, we're going to have, which is the actual second-year anniversary from when the noose was hung up, at 5 p.m. I'm hoping to get everybody here there. We're going to have another rally in front of Recology to let them know that this is unacceptable, one. And two, they need to come out and speak out against this. And also, two, my local union, 350, I'm a Teamster, but I'm not blaming all the Teamsters because I do have some support from other Teamsters, but my local 350 has not backed it. I've made phone calls to them to see if they would do anything, even make Rome Alos, I'm sorry. He's the vice president of the region for this district for the Teamsters. I sent him an email. He said he didn't have any knowledge of it. So I don't know if my local 350 broke any kind of contract agreements with the Teamsters by not telling the vice president, but he didn't even know. So he said he would get back to me. I still haven't heard from him. It's been over a month or so now. Yes, I agree. I totally agree. We also, too, another thing that we could do is probably make phone calls to Recology and let them know of our frustration. The number there would be 415-330-1300. You can either ask for Kathy Jamison or you can ask for Vanessa Scott. They are the HR managers who are handling this whole entire situation and denying it all the way to the end. But it's just the arrogance that Recology has, which all of these companies that I'm sure that we work for, that we bullied under, terrorized under, has, that really has me ready to fight, willing to fight, and going to continue to fight and not go away, and to stand up with everyone here who has an issue. If there's anything that's going on at your companies, please let me know. I will be there. If I got to call other people or whatever you need is help, I'm willing to do that. But December 10th, we're going to be at Recology at 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. Steve, I haven't said anything about this to you, so this is new to you too. So 5 p.m. December 10th, we'll be at Recology, which is 501 Tunnel Avenue, to let them know. I'm going to reach out to a lot of community leaders, you all there. We're going to gain some support for that. We have about 10 weeks or so to make this happen. I know it is during the holiday season. I know people are going to be dealing with Thanksgiving and Christmas and everything else, but nonetheless, this is what we want to do. And actually, we're blacking out Christmas. Actually, we're not trying to take Jesus out for those who believe in Jesus, but we're trying to take Santa out and put Jesus back into the whole equation. So that's another thing that I'm actually part of also, because Santa's getting too much credit. The companies that we're paying all this money to, buying gifts for our family, loved ones, and whatnot, are the same ones who are supporting law enforcement, the same law enforcement that's killing us in the streets, murdering us. So we want to show them by holding our dollars in the spirit of Martin Luther King, redistribute the pain. So that's what I'm calling for. So I hope to see you all December 10th, and let's black out Christmas also.
Now! Stop workplace bullying! Now! Stop workplace bullying! Now! Stop workplace bullying! Now!
The first one that really shook up San Francisco General, because that was the last thing that they expected, was us to hold a press conference and have a lot of press, Channel 2, Channel 5, Channel 7 show up.
All right, Frank.
Hi, my name is Frank Ngo. I'm from San Francisco General Hospital. I've been a victim of bullying and harassment in the workplace. Let me give you one of the instances that I was harassed at work. I was going to the restroom. I didn't know that my supervisor sneakingly followed me until I came back. They called me in the office now. This is one of the instances how you could be harassed. Another harassment at work, it could lower your evaluation for no reason. Even you got all the letter from doctor that you were excellent interpreter, you were great, outstanding. But to him, it doesn't matter. I mean, that's another way that they could use that as a weapon to harass you at work, to lower your evaluation for no reason. Normally, if you make mistake, you don't do well, they call on your office to warn you a few times before they do that. But they can drop your evaluation from 10 score to 5 without no reason. Any reason at all. That's one of the ways how they harass you at work. I mean, I just want to tell you that I feel sorry for people that are victims and have been victim of harassment and bullying work and are supporting the bill, California healthy worker, to stop now, to make an end of this, really terrible, miserable, for human being. Thank you.
Now, one of the things that we also understand is there's a struggle in this country called Black Lives Matter. And why is that? Because black workers and black youth are being killed and being bullied throughout this country. They're being terrorized.
Right.
And it has to stop. It has to stop, and the labor movement has to organize to make it stop. And this coming Monday, there's going to be a Labor Council meeting at the San Francisco Labor Council and an education panel on Black Lives Matter and labor. On May the 1st, the longshoremen in San Francisco shut down the port of San Francisco.
All right.
May Day, to protest police killing. But we have to organize in our unions for the unions to take up this issue of racial discrimination, harassment, and terrorism against blacks and Latino workers. That's critical. If we don't stand up for our brothers and sisters, nobody's going to stand up for anybody.
That's right. That's right.
We will get stronger when we have a strong working class, all united against racism and bullying in the workplace.
Right.
That will make us powerful, and that will not divide us. And I know in San Francisco, it's not just the incident at the Recology in San Francisco. At SFO, there was a hanging noose put up to terrorize Bill Green, an operating engineer. There was a hanging noose put up at the Southeast Sewage Plant against Carmi Johnson and the African-American workers. There is a history, and Gavin Newsom, the past mayor of San Francisco, terrorized and bullied the transit workers, who are mostly African-American, because they wouldn't take a concession contract. He blamed the African-American workers. They targeted them, they harassed them. This is racism in San Francisco. It's bullying of working people who are trying to do the best they can and to do their jobs, and it has to stop. And we are going to stop it, because we're going to back up brothers and sisters who stand up and fight like Daryl and others.
That while I am for labor, we have work to do within labor.
Yes. Thank you.
There's a lot of work to be done within the labor movement. In many ways, the labor movement mirrors what's happening out here. So we need to work on ourselves as labor internally. We need to clean our own house in labor. We need to stand up for these issues. And I think that labor speaking up for Black Lives Matter, speaking up for workplace bullying, speaking up for all these kind of things that affect workers on a daily basis will help to change it from within. And that's what we need to do.
Okay, brothers and sisters, I'm going to open it up. Let the workers, if there are any workers who have experience with workplace bullying who would like to speak. Sister.
All right. Good evening. Thanks for everyone coming. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
My name is Latrell Huddleston. I recently was forced to retire from the city and county of San Francisco for the Treasurer Tax Department in a job that I really loved. I was bullied, mistreated, racist things were done against me for 3 years, and I am a legal assistant. I had 3 attorneys that fought me daily. I had a nervous breakdown. When I came back, 8 days after I came back, I thought everything was going to be beautiful. I had one doctor that said, don't send her back to that department, because if you send her back and she works for those people, she is going to have even more problems than she had. And I'm telling you, 8 days after I was back, I was put on another PIP, which is called a Performance Improvement Plan. That is the way they attacked me. I was a stellar employee. And there was one gentleman that happens to be gay, that wants to be a woman, that cannot be a woman, that hates women, that was against me for more than 3 years. And I think that it is deplorable. I tried to get help from everybody I could. The only people that helped me was the state of California and was the federal government. Kaiser didn't want to have anything to do with me in a certain point because they don't like people like me that talk up. So either way, I had another doctor. It was very, very wonderful. I had a psychiatrist that was wonderful, but unfortunately, they can't help me. I went to a number of attorneys. Nobody can help me. Trust me, they're all in it together, many of them. And I'm not talking about good workers. I'm not talking about good managers. I'm talking about the lousy ones. They need to be pipped, okay? They need to be out of their jobs. They are stealing money and everything else, and that's why they don't want people like me to talk, to say anything. I got plenty of evidence at my house. If I can get an attorney that has the balls enough to help me, surely I know we would win, I would win, etc., etc. But that's not going to happen because people are stealing money. They care too much about their jobs, and they don't want anyone that has age, any kind of intelligence or sense to be around. They want to hire young, dumb workers that don't know anything, and that's that. So I'm going to talk to someone around here that might be able to help me get a good attorney or something like that, because I'm at my wit's end. I've been off for a year, and I'm still upset about the way that I was mistreated. This stuff has been going on for years. For those of you that think it'll never happen to you, think again. Once you hit the magic age of 40, trust me, the city and county is going to be coming after you. And if they don't like you for some reason, they're going to get rid of you. And trust me, they will. Thank you.
Brandon Dawkins. Brandon Dawkins, another public health worker.
So I don't need no microphone because I'm loud enough. So I'm loud enough. Okay. I personally haven't been bullied, but I stand and fight for those who are not able to speak up for themselves. Right. I stand here today and fight for those who can't fight for themselves. Right. I know too many city workers who have been bullied, who have been discriminated, right. And it needs to stop, and it needs to stop today. Right. Enough is enough, right. And we're not taking no more. Right.
That's right.
There are folks that have been on these jobs day after day, slaving for the city and county of San Francisco. But the city and county of San Francisco ain't showing no appreciation to them. Right.
Yeah.
By denying them vacation based on the color of their skin. By denying them vacation based on their sex. By denying them vacation based on their disability. Enough is enough. We shouldn't have to take this from the city and county of San Francisco. We shouldn't have to take this kind of behavior from management. We shouldn't have to take it at all. Right. Every city and county employee, every private sector employee deserve to have fair treatment across the board. That's right. That's right. Enough is enough, and we ain't taking it no more. That's right. So I stand here today to say that bullying in the workplace, harassment in the workplace needs to stop, and needs to stop now.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Fighting the bullying in the workplace is like asking for gun control, and we've had a lot of gun violence over the years, and it has been traced to, I think there was a movie, Murder by Proxy, and it has been traced to bullying in the workplace. And this is a very, very important issue. Very important to be sure that this type of stuff doesn't happen to anybody.
Workplace bullying!